Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Elena and I'm an English teacher in Busan, South Korea. Today you may see that I'm in a completely different location. I'm in Jeju Island. So as you can see by the title of this video, we're going to talk about specifically travel into Jeju Island and kind of some lessons that I learned when traveling through here, because it's a little bit different than, for example, being in Gyeongju or in Busan or in Seoul, of course. It's good to know these things before you travel here. First tip is rent a car. Travel in Jeju is a little bit more tricky with the public transportation. There is public transportation that runs all throughout the island. Waiting times are going to be much longer than in other cities, and you're more than likely going to have to take 2 or maybe even 3 buses to get where you want to go. So if you have a driver's license from the US and you're from a qualifying state, you can just trade in your license for a Korean license. You have to apostille your US license first. So I advise that you just check what state you're from and see if it qualifies for that. If not, you might just have to take like a written test, and then you can get your Korean license. So definitely I would recommend to rent a car. I also recommend not to eat later than 6. A lot of restaurants here, they close pretty early actually, around 7 or even 7:30 at the latest. So if I were to travel in Jeju and I was eating out, don't eat later than 6 o'clock. Even some of the chain restaurants, they tend to close a little bit earlier here than maybe in the larger cities. If you don't have a car, stay in Jeju City. The hostel that I stayed at was actually perfect. It was in a great location. It was only 5 minutes from the bus station, so any bus that I needed to take was within a 5-minute walk. And a few of them I took from the bus stop that's right next to the hostel, so it was like a 30-second walk to the bus stop. So I will leave the information of the hostel that I stayed at, and it was just the perfect location. And again, stay in Jeju City if you don't have a car, because over there buses run a lot more often and it's easier to leave from there to get to whatever destination that you want to go to that day. If you do have a car, or if it's your second time being in Jeju, I really recommend going to Seongwipo. It's a lot more tropical. There's a lot of natural beauty on this side of the island, and it definitely has a lot more of a vacation vibe here. So right now it's my first time in Jeju, but the next time I go, I'm definitely gonna stay on the south side of the island. Another tip is to start your day early. So for me, I leave the hostel at 10 a.m. I advise leaving even before 9 if you want to not rush through things. One, because everything closes at 6. All the attractions I've been to, other than the Osulak Green Tea Museum, closed at 6 and the last admission is at 5. And when you combine them closing early with long travel times and long wait times for buses, you're only going to have time to do maybe 2 attractions in one day. So if you can, get the schedule for the buses that run. Throughout the island, because some of them, they only come about every 30 to 40 minutes. So I've kind of learned my lesson. And I've had to wait for a bus for like 40 minutes. Also, bring entertainment with you. Again, if you're riding on buses, you're gonna be on a bus for 1 to 2 hours getting to whatever attraction you're gonna want to. And bring snacks. for me, I didn't really have much time to eat during the day because I was just traveling so much and I was visiting the attractions and trying to see them before 6 o'clock. So I actually got really hungry a lot of the time, and sometimes I couldn't find like a place to eat at some of the attractions if they were more remote. So definitely bring like a kimbap with you. I think just a kimbap or a couple of those like triangular shaped snacks, rice snacks with like meat inside. Just bring those with you, just in case you're in an area that doesn't have food to eat. Also, try not to come to Jeju in July or August. One, because the monsoon season, some people say in June, but this year it was in July. So monsoon season comes around, it's going to be raining a lot. And then in August, it's typhoon season. So those are two of the most rainy months. So if you want to catch the sun, either come in like middle of September or in early June. Middle of September is actually perfect because it's at the end of the tourist season, so the crowds are much smaller, so you have more opportunity to take some awesome pictures. Another great tip, again, if you're taking public transportation, is to put quite a bit of money on your transportation card before you start your trip. I would start at like 40,000 won because I learned my lesson and I was actually really low on my money on the card, and I was in a remote area where I couldn't recharge it. So there's a lot of bus stops that are pretty remote and you're not going to be near any kind of convenience store to where you can recharge your card. So you don't want to be stranded in the middle of the island or in a remote area. So it's better to keep your card like charged as much as you can with as much money as you can put into it. And again, going back to transportation, whatever time you want to arrive at your first destination, leave from wherever you're staying about 2 hours prior, just to give time for any delays. Different parts of the island offer different types of attractions. So if you love museums, you can stay on the west side of the island. If you love more natural beauty, cliffs, landscapes type of thing, more seaside, coastal beauty, stay on the south side of the island. If you would rather be somewhere that is convenient and easy to travel through, then stay in Jeju City. It's also right next to the airport. And if you like more like foresty type places and parks and stuff, then the east side of the island has that. But so those are some of the things that I learned on my first trip in Jeju. So I hope you listen to this before you take your first trip and you can learn from my experience. Thank you so much for watching. I would really appreciate it if you like my video and if you share it with someone who you think might benefit from it. And comment below and let me know if that's somewhere that you're planning on going to next. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you next time. Want to know what are the top things to do on Jeju Island? Then you should definitely watch my 3-part Jeju Island vlog series.